everybody, and welcome back to another episode of On Campus here on the Solano College Sports Network. I'm your host today, Gonzales, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by our very special guest, Ezra Ruggles, who is the lead costume designer in the play No Exit. So, welcome to the studio. Why don't we just start off by you just telling us a little bit about your experience here at Solano and the theater here?
Um, I started here at Solano when I was 16 because I graduated high school 2 years early to come here. And the first theater class, I took a theater class for the first time, and it was stagecrafts, which was a really fun class.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really interesting. That's what really got me into theater.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then after that semester in the spring, I took costume design for the first time, and I realized then that it was really, really awesome, and that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. And oh my god, I forgot what I was gonna say. Is
You're good. Yeah. So then, okay, so you mentioned that you started in the program and you got interested at a very young age. 16 is very young. So props to you. Not all of us can say that. So what exactly got you interested in the costume design aspect whenever you took that class at such a young age?
But I went into the class just knowing that I went into the class already knowing how to sew and stuff, and I already knew that I liked sewing because
Hmm.
I'd been doing that since I was 9 or 10 years old.
Hmm.
But there were a lot of aspects of costume design as opposed to making regular clothes that were really different, such as like making costumes that can be taken off or changed in a split second on stage in the middle of a song or something. And also, another interesting thing about costume design is that you have to work with other people who aren't even in the costume department to make sure that it will work on stage, such as the lighting people.
Hmm.
You have to make sure that, for example, a green shirt won't turn brown under the lights, which is a problem that we ran into during No Exit.
Really?
Yeah, because I had two green shirts, one for the actor and one for the understudy, and then both of
Oh.
them were turning brown under the lights, so I had to go in and find two more green shirts that were a different shade of green so they wouldn't turn brown.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's something that most of us would not know about that. So what would be another thing that like most people would never guess would be something that you have to deal with on the day to day with costume design?
Um, just how long it takes sometimes. Um, because sometimes you have to make your own patterns
Oh my gosh.
for costumes. Luckily, I didn't have to do that for No Exit. I almost did, but then we found a big blue safety vest that I was able to take apart at the seams and turn that into a pattern.
Wow.
But we were trying to find a vest pattern for one of the understudies, and we talked to the costume design teacher, and then it just wasn't working out because we emailed him too late, and then time was running out, and I was about to make a pattern for the
Hmm.
vest, which
Hmm.
I sort of remembered how to do
Oh
because
man.
I only ever did it once, and it was fairly simple, but
Yeah.
I was so stressed out about that. But then we found the vest, and it was okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really good though.
Yeah.
So how is it working with the team of everybody in theater, the actors, the directors, and the producers, like all that? How is like that team in order to come out with a really good production?
There were definitely times when all of us just got so pissed off at each other, whether it was during the rehearsal process or even during the run of the show. Um, but in general, it was really, really great working with everyone, especially since I think there were about 20 of us in the Theater 5 class. Well, the class is the actors and the crew and the director and the stage managers and everyone involved with the show. Um, and I think 90% of those people I was already friends with
Mm.
before the semester started. But then there were like two or three people that I was not as close with and I got really close with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's really good to like build community and just like
Yeah.
be with like-minded people in order to have, those really good relationships.
Yeah, it was really nice making friends.
Yeah, that's really nice. So, along with either this production or maybe ones in the past, what has been like your favorite production to do so far?
Um, well, No Exit was my first time being a lead designer and actually putting my own ideas on the stage.
Mm.
But the first oh my God, the first show that I actually worked on costumes for was Anything Goes, which was last spring. That show was honestly so amazing to work on. I mean, I was mostly working on the sailor costumes for the ensemble, and then for a few other characters that had different sailor costumes. Um, but it was fun though, because that's when I took the costume design class. That was the play that was the musical that was happening that semester, and it was honestly a really spectacular show.
Yeah.
All the costumes were so amazing in that show.
Yeah. What would you kind of say goes into the day to day of making costumes? Like the hours behind it. How many hours do you spend making costumes?
Hmm. Well, the rehearsal time for No Exit, it was a 2 hour class.
Okay.
Theater 5 is a 2 hour class on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Oh wow.
But at one point after spring break, we extended it to 2 hours and 30 minutes, so it was 3 to 5:30. Um, and then I also took stuff home to work on a lot because one of our characters, her entire costume pretty much had to be made by hand.
Oh wow.
We started with a green jacket and a pair of black shorts, and we had to add a bunch of patches to that, which were also hand painted. Um, and I had there were three of us, me, Mackenzie, and Miranda, working on the costumes, and I had Mackenzie paint most of the patches because she was really good at it,
Mm.
and then I would sew all of them on. But depending on how you sew them on, like what kind of stitch you use, it can take so long to do one. If you do it one way, it can take 30 minutes to sew on one patch. If you do it another way, it can take like 5 minutes. So
Oh.
I did it the second way pretty often,
Yeah.
even
Wow.
though that wasn't really the way I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
It didn't look as good, but it was much faster, and that's what I cared about in the end.
Yeah. You seem to be very interested in this design process. So, what would you say is like your favorite part about it, and what would be like the biggest thing that you would like try to get somebody who's interested in the field? What would you say would be like the selling point to do it?
Mm, oh, jeez. Honestly, like most of why I liked it, most of why I like being a lead designer is just looking at looking at how the costumes turned out in the end,
Yeah.
how they looked in the actual show, and
The
then
end result.
looking back at what my designs looked like at the beginning of the semester because they changed so much.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. Some of them didn't change as much, but it was really cool seeing them come together over the course of the semester and seeing like what we needed to change because stuff wasn't working or what we just wanted to change because we found something better that would
Hmm.
look cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what would be your end goal in this field? Like, do you plan on transferring to another college or what's
Yeah,
your
I'm transferring after this semester.
where are you transferring to?
I'm going to SF State.
Okay.
And two of my friends from the theater department are also going, so I'll already have a couple people who I know. But I also do want to meet a lot of people there.
Yeah, and they have like a really good program that you're interested in.
I
What
think
would be like
so.
the professional route that you're looking at after college?
Um, I mean, there are a lot of things that you can do
Oh, really?
if you're experienced in costume design or just experienced in sewing in general. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to be a tailor. I think tailoring is really cool. I also think it would be cool to design costumes for movies
Right.
and not even just theater. But I like theater the best, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at the theater. This was another episode of On Campus here on the Solano College Sports Network. Again, I am your host today, Brooklyn Gonzales, and I had the pleasure of being joined by our amazing guest, Ezra Ruggles. We will see you in the next episode.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether you're commentating a live game
or hosting your own TV show,
for more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
we hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
It's more than just sports, it's an education.